Hi, welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And today on the show, we have our monthly series, Social Bootcamp with Gogo Bethke. Now, let me tell you about Gogo. Gogo came to the United States in 2003 to build her American dream. She was broke, had no real estate experience, no sphere of influence, barely spoke English, and only $6 to her name. So that left her with nothing else but Facebook to help build her business, which is where she started. Now, she created Gogo's Real Estate and began her real estate career. And with the power of social media, Gogo has sold over 75 million in real estate transactions. That's probably an old number. She also, in her social media, she shares the good, the bad, and the ugly of real estate, and her honest snippets into her daily life earned her the nickname of Queen of Social Media. And after being asked to present at various conferences and events with realtors, she built her own social media bootcamp for realtors called Gogo's Bootcamp. Today, she has a team of over 300 agents nationwide. Her goal is to help as many agents as possible make a name for themselves in real estate utilizing social media. Now, if she can do it, this girl from Transylvania, Romania, with no formal US education, no sphere of influence, no money, no experience, and an accent, that anyone else can do it as well. Please follow Gogo on Instagram at Gogo's Real Estate. That's Gogo's Real Estate. And please also consider investing in her bootcamp. Gogo's Bootcamp is the very best social media program for realtors on the market. It's the only product we stand behind at our podcast, and we encourage everyone to go check it out. We have a special pricing for our listeners and viewers. So go to gogopodcast.com. Again, gogopodcast.com. Gogo, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. But guess what?
What?
These numbers are so old. We have almost 600 agents now.
You know what? That's right. And you know what's funny is Gogo and I have a little bit of a little friendly rivalry, because I've been recruiting agents for our company here in Chicago for 10 years, and I only have 750 agents. And in just a couple of years, she's almost to my level now, which is amazing. And what's even more impressive is she's doing it the exact same way she's teaching agents how to do it through social media, which is, I should take some of your own advice and do it my way. And maybe I'd have more people here on board as well. So we're super excited to have you. You are absolutely the real deal in an industry where anyone can call themselves an expert. You actually are an expert because you did it with your own business, and now you're doing it on the recruiting side. And it's obviously it's so amazing. You've built this incredible community. So what are we going to talk about today with social media?
So you and me did a little bit of conversing, and I think what we'll talk about today is the different pool of people that you can target, and then how to find them with the power of a hashtag. Do you want to do that?
Yep. I love that, because I know that even when I'm producing episodes for our podcast, I'm always not sure exactly what hashtags to use, how many, and just sort of how to know what gets noticed and research and clicked on.
Yeah. So let's cover a few things. First, let's cover the different pool of people and the different pool of things that we want to target. So
sure.
Then let's talk about how to look up those hashtags, how to look them up to see the traffic on them. Okay, so let's start with that. So the way I look at hashtags is like a search words. So if I were to go to Google and put in a biomat, which by the way, that's the next thing I need to Google because I want to know more about it. I just don't have the time. But that's what I would be doing. So if I went on Instagram right now, I would put in the search box biomat, and then I would see all of the things that pop up because I want to see actual people's opinion on the biomat. How much do they spend? What do they use it for? Does it work? Does it not work? Like that kind of stuff. So just think of hashtags as search words. What are you looking for, or who are you targeting? So for example, do I want our end goal, everyone's end goal right here as a realtor is I want people to buy or sell with me, correct? I want them to be my lifelong clients that always, every time they have a real estate need, they reach out to Gogo's real estate team. Sure. So in order to do that, how do I find them? Who are these people? Where are they at? What do we have in common? So the way you can do that is to target them, because you think about it, people in average are on the market for about every 7 to 10 years. which means in the in-between time, they have no real estate needs, but I still have to find them, or they have to find me. They need to know of my existence. So if and when they finally have some real estate needs, they know exactly who to call. So who are those people? The way I look at it is, I am as Gogo. How many things do I love and enjoy? And who are the people that love and enjoy the same things? So for example, I'm an immigrant. Okay. So if I am talking about, if I'm posting something today about being an immigrant, or as I like to call it, an alien, technically, legally in this country, I'm considered an alien.
Yeah.
Really? Or a naturalized citizen. Like all
Right.
of the words, but my favorite is the alien, because like
Yeah, I like alien too. Yeah.
I'm like, do I have a third eye or something? Like an alien? I understand I'm from another continent, but I'm not from another planet.
Right.
But somebody there came up with that word. I was like, that is just weird.
Yeah.
But whatever, we'll make it work. So let's say today I'm posting about someone, and I want to find the other Romanians, Hungarians, immigrants in my neck of the woods, because we have that thing in common. I'd rather work with somebody who's just like me, because if you're just like me, then we are going to get along, and you're not going to be an asshole client. Excuse my French.
Right.
Act like you're going to love me. I'm going to love you. We're going to smooth sail all the way to the closing table. I'm going to get you the best deal. I'm going to make a nice commission. Everybody's happy in the end of the transaction. But I found you because I'm an alien and you're an alien. Okay.
Right.
So I'm making a post today and talking about, hey, I'm from Romania, and I came to this country, blah, 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 to allow people to get to know me. I would hashtag Romania, Romanian girls. I would hashtag Hungarian, Transylvania, Hungarian from Transylvania. I would hashtag girl. I would hashtag immigrant. I would hashtag American dream. I would hashtag immigrant realtor. I would hashtag, So everything that goes with that, who you are on the immigrant side of your life, you would want to use a hashtag for, because now, am I talking to just Romanians? No, but would I find somebody who also somebody might follow the hashtag Romanian.
Sure.
They have no interest in local real estate. They just happen to find you because you posted something with the Romanian hashtag. They follow the Romanian hashtag. Now suddenly they follow you. It's like, hold on, I didn't know Gogo's Romanian. I'm not. I'm from Romania, but I'm Hungarian, but just so you know. But now they're going to follow me because we have that in common. So sometimes I post something about my bulldog. Well, I'm going to do bulldog lover, bulldog mom,
sure,
bulldogs, American bulldog, English bulldog, French bulldog, Boston bulldog, all of those bulldogs, because I know there is a whole community for bulldog lovers, millions out there. So they might not have a need in real estate at this moment, but they're going to follow me because we have bulldog in common. I'm a bulldog mom. So now they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Gogo has a bulldog. I didn't know that. So now they're going to follow me because of the bulldog. They have zero real estate needs at this moment, but they're going to continue staying as my follower. And then one day when they have real estate needs, they're going to be like, there's that Gogo chick that has real estate. I'm going to call her. Okay. The other one for me that I do is type 1 diabetes. My oldest son is type 1 diabetic. So I tag type 1, I tag type 1 diabetes, T1D, CGM, Omnipod, glucagon, like A1C, like anything that applies to a type 1 mom, mom.
Sure.
That's one of the things. So anything that you have, because now I'm going to find a whole other type 1 community that they may not have real estate needs at the moment, but they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know Gogo's son has type 1 diabetes. Now they're going to follow me because we have that thing in common. Okay, so now you have to sit down for a moment and write down, okay, what are the different things that you stand for? You might be a hiker, you might be a biker, you might be a swimmer, you might be into science, you might be a nerd, you might be a book nerd, you might be whatever that thing that makes you. Now you want to find the people that they have that same thing in common with you, because those are your people. And I'd rather work with people that are just like me.
And then the other thing, you just said so many great things. You're absolutely right. You want to work with people who already have some sort of shared connection. So the other way you can do it is almost reverse engineer it as well. So if you wanted to find out anyone else that hashtags Transylvania or Romania, for example, in your local market, you can search for that. And you could say, you could always reach out to those people if their profiles are public and you can see their posts. You could actually say, hey, by the way, I am also from Transylvania, and I always am interested in meeting people who have our background, it's funny. As you were telling that story, it reminded me of a story, something that happened to me. I went to Ireland with my dad. We had like a father-son trip several years ago, which was very, very fun. And we ended up in this one town called Galway, which is one of the towns that's very popular over there. Anyway, but it's a small town. It's like a little tiny small town. And well, it's not that small, but small enough. And we came back here. And the next day after the trip was over, I went to go get a sandwich at this deli that was down the street from where I lived. And I walked in, this woman had an Irish accent. And I said, "Oh, I just got back from Ireland yesterday. That's really funny." I go, where are you from in Ireland?" She goes, "Oh, I'm from Galway." I was like, "I was just in Galway 3 or 4 days ago or whatever." And we started talking about Galway. And she said, she goes, "You're the first person who I've met that's been to Galway since I've been to Chicago." And she goes, "I search on social media all the time to try to find all my other Galway people, and I really haven't found anyone yet." So this is a perfect example of people do search for this.
Yeah, you can actually follow a hashtag. So if like I follow the hashtag realtor because I want to see every time somebody posts, like who makes it viral, what did they post, what was in that post that made them viral, so then I can copy and do the
Yeah.
same thing. You know what I mean? So you're not in the business of inventing the wheel. Like go follow people that are doing it and they're doing an amazing job at it and copy and paste. You know what I mean? Like do the same thing. Don't make it too hard for yourself. But yes, you can absolutely do that. You can I follow the hashtag Brighton because Brighton, Michigan is where we do most of our transactions. And I also
Sure.
tag Brighton every time I make a post and stories. So there was this guy one day that sent me a message like, "I'm so freaking, excuse my French, annoyed with your post. Do you always have to tag Brighton?" He's like, "I'm so sick of seeing your posts."
God forbid.
Yeah, clearly
Sorry.
I'm doing my job and it's working. I said, you have a few options. You can unfollow Brian
Right.
or you could unfollow me. But here's the thing. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because it's clearly working. I mean, not to the fact that I'm annoying you. That's not what I'm trying to achieve. But you clearly see my post just because I tag Brighton. So,
It's a great example of being effective. And we should tell people though, please put your tags. Well, if you're going to do a bank of tags, put them at the bottom of the post. But if you're going to put hashtags, but you should also feel free to put hashtags in the content, in the actual post, text itself. Let's talk about that. Where do you put most of yours at the bottom or?
So most of the time I build it right into what I'm posting. So
Yeah.
when I make a post, I type as I speak. So seriously, if I showed you this photo, whatever I would tell you about that photo or what's on my mind is the way I would say it is how I type.
Got
Okay.
it.
And as I'm talking about, let's say I'm talking about business mindset, then I would be hashtagging business. I would be working in their business mindset. I would work in their social media. I would work in their social media marketing. So all of those, as I'm talking about that subject in the body, I would put a hashtag in front of the word that
Got it.
is about. And then usually I do a couple of spaces at the end, and I always hashtag my own brand. So you always want to hashtag your own brand. So what does that mean? My brand is Gogo's Real Estate. And I do hashtag Gogo's Real Estate, all one word, hashtag Gogo Bethke, hashtag Gogo. Because I know if somebody's searching for me, they're going to search by Gogo, Gogo's Real Estate, or Gogo Bethke, or
Right.
Team Gogo. So all of those things that I know I created a name and a brand for in the industry, I would hashtag my own. So I strongly recommend don't build it into the blah, blah, blah that you're talking about, because that's not what you're talking about, but you still need to hashtag that because you don't know how people are going to search for you. So I always plug in my own hashtags. Now, sometimes lately I try something new where I take all of the hashtags and I plug it into the first comment.
Interesting.
To see how it does. Does it do better if it's just blank, no hashtags at all, and the comments are in the bottom or in the comment, or sorry, the hashtags
First
are in
comment,
the comment, yeah. Or does it do better if my blah, blah, blah has no hashtags, but all of the hashtags are in a bunch in the bottom? Or does it do better if the hashtags are built into the blah, 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 but there's no hashtags in the bottom or in a comment? So I just play along with it because the algorithm changes all the time.
Yeah.
And
Have you
also,
found any trends about what tends to do better, or is it not conclusive?
Definitely what does better is if you don't post all 30 hashtags. So you can do up to 30. If you do more than 30, it's going to go blank.
Right.
Your type up is going to go blank, and you're like, well, I just typed it up. Where the heck did it go? It's because you use more than 30 hashtags. So if you use more, they're automatically just going to blank out your type up. So you definitely want to use less than, you can use up to 30, but I don't recommend it. The algorithm doesn't like that. So I would be very specific with the hashtags that you want to use on that post. So for example, let's say you're talking about CMAs, your competitive market analysis, you're not going to hashtag beach office.
Right.
Because it's not a palm tree and you're not under it sipping mimosas. You are in your office running CMAs for your clientele. So because the artificial intelligence, the AI is very smart, it actually, Instagram and Facebook AI has picture recognition. And so the AI is strong enough, smart enough to know, oh, there's a palm tree in the picture. That's a home office. That will go together, of like beach office for the day. But if I do that palm tree and now I do CMA, it's going to be like, well, that's not, you're not talking about what the picture shows. So it's not going to show it to your followers. So you have to stay true and very specific with your hashtags. So what I would do, I would probably narrow it down to like 6, 7 of very specific hashtags to what you're talking about in that post. And then also leave another 3 or 4 to your own personalized brand. So right around 11, 12 hashtags per post is where I think is the sweet spot is.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you just said something really important about the visual picture, specifically on Instagram, matching it up to some degree with the hashtags that you're using, or at least maybe better said is making sure that the hashtags aren't wildly different from what your visual image, because because Google or I'm sorry, Facebook, who owns Instagram, is going to be able to identify objects in a picture, and they're going to be able to assign context to that. So that's a really, really smart idea. So if you're like just a realtor and you're sitting at your office and you're in an office environment, you start hashtagging vacation homes, or that may or may not be a good idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. If you're in front of a home and you want to take a picture that you're listing, then you can talk about all sorts of home styled tags. So it's tags about home, because Google's going to see a house in the background and going to make not Google, Facebook is going to see that and then make the connection and say that's relevant to this photo.
Yeah, so let's talk about how do you search for hashtags? What are those 5 hashtags that you should use? So let's use, do you want to use the bulldog one?
Sure.
Okay, so let's go on Instagram. When you open up Instagram, you're going to see your feed. And then in the bottom, you see this search button right here. That's the one I want you to click. Okay. Yeah. So let's put in bulldog lover. And you're going to wait. And it's going to show you hashtags. You see, it shows me there's 1.2 posts,
million
1.2 million posts with bulldog lover. So that's a good one to tag, because there's a lot of people following that hashtag or using that hashtag. Let's do bulldogs with an S at the end. Okay. So now I'm going to do, you see, it didn't even bring it up. It didn't even bring it up. So now I have to go and hit tag. You see, so I'm going to hit tags on top to take me to bulldog's tag. So it's 5.9 million.
Huge.
Okay. So now I'm like, okay, this is a good hashtag to use. Okay. So let's go back to something funky. I don't know.
Let's say, well, I think baby bulldog's a good one. That would be a little bit more specific. It's going to be a lot smaller, right?
Baby bulldog. So not puppy, we're going to do baby. Okay, there you go. Baby bulldog, it's only 109,000. So should I be, if I need to limit it down to 5 or 6 hashtags, should I be using baby bulldog? No.
Probably not. But if it was Transylvania, for example, and it was there's going to be less people doing that, but it's so hyper specific. See, baby bulldogs isn't that specific, right? So if you wanted something really, really specific that you're into, then maybe it does make sense to use a tag with less volume.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, not use tags with less volume. I'm trying to say, if you're doing your research and now you can only post 5 tags for a certain subject, and now you need to decide which tags should you be using, because now we're using these tags because I want to generate those eyeballs that follow.
We want to cast the widest net possible.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So imagine it that way. So if I have to narrow it down, if you're going to use 30, go use 30. You can actually go to a site called All Hashtags. Write this down. All Hashtags. You go in there and you put in bulldog. There's like a hashtag generator in the middle of the screen. You put in a bulldog in the little stripe there, and it's literally going to give you the 30 most used hashtags that are tied to the word bulldog.
Right.
You can literally take it from there and post it. So I can put in real estate, and literally it's going to give me the 30 most used hashtags for real estate. But I want to teach you all how to search for specific ones that you're a subject that you're talking about, so you can narrow it down based on amount of followers or amount of people who use that tag or follow that tag. This is how you find your target audience on a specific subject.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. All right, let's talk about that. So well, just to recap, I guess. So we basically, in order to find hashtags, there's really two ways to do it. If you want to see the biggest hashtags, or the easiest or related hashtags to one particular keyword of something you're interested in, all hashtags a good option, because you can just type it in and you can see. And you can also just pull up your Instagram app and do a search for hashtags there, and you'll get a sense of the volume as well.
Yes. Yeah. So you can use all check for all 30, or you can narrow it down based on a specific subject and do your own research and see, okay, I'm going to use this one. I like it.
What are your thoughts about hashtagging on Facebook versus Instagram?
So Facebook is totally different. You can still hashtag, but I would not recommend to use more than 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So on Facebook, we use very limited. I would say probably an average 2 or 3. So for example, but we also use it different than we use Instagram. So Facebook is more of my local market. That's where my listings are just listed, just sold, open houses we just closed, those things go. Instagram is more so my target audience is the agent. When on Facebook, my target audience is my sellers and buyers. So we use it totally different. So if I'm posting something on Facebook and it's my newest listing, I would use the hashtag just listed. I would use the next hashtag Gogo's real estate team, because my team is who listed it. Makes sense? Right. And then maybe I would use the hashtags home for sale. And then I would use the hashtag home for sale in Brighton. I've used the hashtag Brighton. I've used the hashtag Michigan. Because those are the 5 very important things that apply to that one specific listing. Makes sense? So yeah, I use it totally different than I use it on Instagram. But I use the 2 platforms totally different.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. And we should also mention too, for Facebook hashtagging, that you really should be doing that mostly in your business page post, right? Because that's a public, well, I would assume for most people who have a business page, it's a public facing page. You want people to be able to find you who aren't necessarily your friends, although your friends will find you as well. But the hashtags are way more important in your business page posts versus your personal page posts.
Yes, absolutely. Don't use on a personal page, don't use hashtags.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume you would. But awesome. Well, I think we should stop there, because that is, I always try to do too much on all of my podcast episodes, and then people get like, oh my gosh, they get overwhelmed. This is really important, guys. This is so easy to do. You're already posting content. Make sure you're adding hashtags, right? Do your research. You want to cast as wide a net as possible. But remember too, that if you're really only focused in your local market, do a search with like your city name and real estate, or real estate city name, or your city realtor, and see what kind of volume you get from that, or what volume Instagram has for, or in Facebook has for that. Well, Facebook I don't think shows you hashtag volume, but Instagram does, and you can actually see that and make some educated guesses. Because Gogo, for example, her team is nationwide, so she's going to do the most broad terms that are specific to real estate agents. But if you're a hyper local market, like she was saying, she hashtags Brighton, which is where she's from, for some of her posts, where she wants to attract more local people. So you just have to think about where are your people, where do they live, and what are they searching for? And using the city name or the town name you live in is a good indicator to get a sense of how many people are doing that. And that's where you can start getting some more followers.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
Well, you nailed it. I just repeated it. Gogo's got a birthday coming up by the end of this year, where we were talking about this earlier. We won't mention the actual birthday itself, but that she's got a home. What's that? No, we will not mention it. But she has a lot of exciting things coming up this year before her birthday. She's speaking at a number of different events. Really, we encourage you to follow everything she's doing. She has a new home she's building down in Florida. All of these things are happening right now. Very, very exciting before the end of the year. So please follow her, because she's one of those people that doesn't just teach how to do this, which is a lot of people who do this aren't actually very good at social media. They just teach about it because they realize it's a lot easier to teach it than to actually do it. She actually does it. And she's recruited, how many agents do you have now?
Almost 600.
Well, you haven't recruited any of them. That's the brilliant part. I recruit agents. I go after agents. They find you through attraction. It's the same thing you teach your students or realtors how to attract agents through attraction versus cold calling, which is what I do. So I am a huge fan of hers. She's actually somebody who gets results and teaches at the same time, which is remarkable. So we're big fans. Let's talk about Gogo's Bootcamp just for a moment. So explain to our audience what that is and what people get with it.
Sure. So there's two different courses. One is the social media course. That's our initial course. That's how the madness started. And that's everything social media. So what we talked about here, guys, today, it's literally inside the course and then some. We are talking probably over 200 different videos right now of what, that's what it looks like on the social media side. So my goal, I've never bought a lead in my life. I always talk about, I'd rather teach you how to fish than to hand you a fish. So I'd rather teach you how to put food on the table, fish for your own leads. So you always know where your leads are going to come from. So you always know going to know and have control over your own commissions. And then also build a brand that will allow you, if you do this right, guys, social media is not just for the next commission. It's not just for your buyers and seller leads. Today, I have over 20 different sources of income. Every single one of them, 99% of them are passive, and every single one of them comes through some sort of social media. So then when you start building an audience, now companies are going to reach out to you. Now you can make affiliate income through those companies. So there's a million ways to skin a cat. And so we talk about brand building. I teach the organic side of social media branding, and then my business partner, Sammy, teaches the paid advertising of the social media advertising. So if you want to learn with me organically how to build a brand is what I've done, and then take that and maybe throw some money at it, $5-10 a day, and then target your local audience and get your next leads and constantly have the flow. And then when you have so many leads, then you're going to build a team, and then when you build a team, so it just goes on and on from there on. So that's the social media side of things. So we have organic social media and paid advertising in the same course. That one is $14.99 right now, but we are adding on to the course, and then the price is going up. I don't know how much, but more than likely more than double. You guys listening to the Keeping It Real podcast, you guys actually get 10% off. So don't come directly to my site. Go to gogopodcast.com to get your 10% off for being a Keeping It Real podcast listener. On my site, you're going to be paying full price. So you're better off going to Keeping It Real podcast, since that's what you heard about it. So give DJ some credit. So
thanks. And we get a little affiliate spiff as well on that. And that helps us support the podcast. So if you like what you're hearing and you want us to keep growing, not only do you get a discount, but we get a little taste of that as well. So, and again, it's literally the only product we recommend. It is so good. We are such big fans. We get pitched, just so everyone knows, kind of pull back the curtain for a moment. Almost every day, in fact, it happens every day. Every day, our Zana, who's our producer, gets pitched by publicists who somebody is selling a service, a product, or they represent a company that is trying to target agents. We get pitched by them every single day. And this is the only social media product we would recommend because it is good. And we know that Gogo is the real deal. So we put our entire brand behind that as well. So put your trust in her. Go to gogopodcast.com. I assure you will not be disappointed. It's worth the money. And just think, even if it nets you just one additional sale, it more than pays for itself. And it's going to net you a lot more than that. So
that's big. Think about what's an average commission for an agent nationwide. It's probably somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000. So if my course sucks and all you get is one measly the rest of your life and you never get another one again, well, it paid for itself 4 times over, 4 times to what it costed.
I would invest $1,500 to make $5,000 any day of the week. I do it with every last penny I had. So it's an absolute no-brainer. And also, please follow Gogo on Instagram at Gogo's Real Estate. You'll get a good sense of what you should be doing to get more clients. And also you'll just get a good sense of what an actual agent who's productive, has a ton of business herself, and has built a huge team and this big social media following all at the same time. And she does it all on social media. So check it out at Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram, and you can find her on Facebook and everywhere else as well. Gogo, well,
hold I want
Go
to
ahead,
two more things. So a lot of our
please.
students are actually getting now to the point where they're getting the acknowledgement. So Property Sparks is one of the companies that acknowledges social media, the
Yeah.
realtors' efforts on social media. So a lot of our students are number one in their areas, and we are getting tagged all the time. So I'm very proud of them. I've been number one now 2 years in a row in the state of Michigan and also in the metropolitan area of Detroit, but also number 16 in the nation. And everything that I do and how I got to where I'm at, it's in that course. The second course that we have is our agent attraction course.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We forgot to mention that.
And that's for team builders. So agents
Yeah.
that are about to build their own teams, or broker owners that you're building, you're attracting agents to your own brokerage. And that is, so at EXP, I'm with EXP. Here I've attracted 148 agents personally to my front line, and then almost 600 in my overall, what we call, organization here. So as much as I make it look so simple, I'm very systematized. We have literally an app for it. I have an app for that.
Yeah.
That's what, anything from mindset to all of the systems to all of the apps and everything that it takes to do this, like clockwork, where agents reach out to you, they plug themselves into your calendar. You literally just have to sit down, do your presentation. Next thing you know, they're signing up. That's what the agent attraction course is about. That one is $3,000 for lifetime access. But if you want us to set up all of your systems, then it's $5,000.
And that's huge. That's huge too, because teams are everything right now, and everybody I know is recruiting. So if you're looking to expand your team, or maybe you're looking to build a team, or maybe you're a broker owner and you want to attract more realtors to your company, agent attraction, great course as well.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I'll see you in a month.
See you in a month. We want to thank everyone for continuing to support our show. Please remember to tell a friend, tell one other person you know who's a real estate professional about our podcast. Have them visit keepingitrealpod.com, or just have them pull up a podcast app and search for Keeping It Real and hit the subscribe button. And also remember to follow Gogo on Instagram. Go to @Gogo's Real Estate. Follow her, hit the subscribe button on, or hit the follow button on Instagram. Follow her and make sure, and you'll see all the cool things she's up to, and you can duplicate the same success. Gogo, thank you so much. We'll see you next month.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.